pitch to Mitchell for three. Yes! He got the roll. A 12-1 run. Mitchell with 10 of those 12 points. Off the steal, it's Mitchell. Back it goes. O'Neal with the lob from Mitchell, who is putting on a show here in the fourth quarter.
Donovan Michell and the Utah Jazz over the years have enjoyed playing with each other, and that's built their culture more than anybody. Last year, remember them all coming out at the press conferences together. That united front helped them on one side. Houston 0 for 13 from 3 in the fourth on the other. We welcome you in. We'll hear from coaches and players and more. Game Time Live. Casey Stern, Sekou Smith, Coach Tibbs, and Mr. Blocker Charge, Rex Chapman. And let's start on the Utah side, because we talk about teams, Rex, and their fight, right? Their will. This has always been a team that has always backed up each other. We talked about Corver the other day, after a loss, unprovoked, telling the media to stay. He wanted to make a statement about Donovan. Donovan just gets asked right by Ali a question after the game. What does he do? Wants to talk about Jay Crowder. How much did that kind of lead to that fight you saw in that fourth quarter from them tonight?
I think quite a bit. You know, this Jazz organization going back, I mean, Jerry Sloan, I mean, this is a franchise that plays hard every night, plays with character, plays with integrity. And I got to give a shout out to Quinn Snyder, his staff, the front office there for having this team. This is what you bring a guy like Quinn Snyder in for. He develops a culture there that's going to be fight every single night, play defense, give me all you have, and they did that tonight.
Coach, when you look at where Utah sits, they are, look, we saw in the first game, they don't have the shooting ability from a team standpoint that Houston does. But how impressed were you with the way that they were able to not settle for those shots in the fourth? And how many times you saw them get to the line and go inside? O'Neal, Mitchell several times, and others. And that really ended up being the difference in the game.
Yeah, I thought Mitchell stepped up big in the fourth quarter. The penetration to the basket, the way he finished, was huge for them. But I think this game revealed a lot about their character, because it starts with a belief that you can do it. And it says a lot that you want to win this game to continue the series and go to Houston. And there, you know, you saw Donovan after the game talking about, you know, the next game. And so their fight was revealed. Their start of the game, I thought, was huge for them. The way Jay Crowder stepped up and the way he played, I thought Favors was huge in the game. And you need everyone. You need everyone to be at their best at this point of the season. So it's a great character win for their team.
Yeah, and look, not everything rolled right, and they still were able to win. I mean, we'll discuss it as we move forward, as this series will. Joe Ingles, again, is seemingly something. I mean, it's not the Ingles that we saw really all season and DeMontre in the playoffs last year, but Derek Favors and Royce O'Neal. And, you know, Ricky had a couple of big plays. Rudy had a couple of big plays. A little of everybody, Sekou, tonight.
Yeah, I think they were shocked at the way they played in those first two games. And Houston got back to normal now, and you saw the fight in these past two games.
Here's Mike D'Antoni.
Well, that was part of it. I just thought they were the more aggressive team, and you know, they came out like they didn't want to die, and they did a heck of a job on being the aggressives early in the first quarter, especially. I thought we were sloppy and didn't rebound the ball. Kind of righted the ship, and we start the fourth quarter. I think we're up 2-1 or maybe tied, whatever. And we didn't play very smart. I mean, you know, we just did things that were uncharacteristic of a team that wants to win, and give them, they hit their shots, we didn't, and that's kind of the tell.
What do you think happened there at the start of the fourth that got Donovan Mitchell rolling?
We made some mistakes off of him. You know, we left him one time on a penetration and he hits a three. We didn't square up on another penetration, it's a layup. It was us. I mean, it's him too. I mean, he's good. He's going to get rolling. So I'm not worried about that if we do what we're supposed to do, but we didn't. And that was kind of the theme the whole night. It was just, weren't sharp again. Whether we were tired, I don't know. But, you know, we have to dig a little deeper and play a little bit better.
Coach, can you talk about only getting 5 points from your bench tonight?
Yeah, that's not good. Analytically, I think I'll have to look at the numbers, but I don't think that's good. No, this didn't. You know, we need a little extra. And when you a closeout game on the road, you know, some other guys got to step up. We didn't do it.
To a level of concern, is it that this is 2 games now where offensively just haven't really looked like yourselves?
A little bit. I think we'll be fine. Ours is tied a little bit on the defensive end, and we were okay until the last quarter. We just awful at the end, and you know, again, they had more of a desperation than we had. You know, when you're up 3-0, it's not right. I mean, you should play every game the way you should play it, but you know, they're human. We're human, and I thought that we didn't come out focused, and then we did get focused, and then we lost it again, and at the end, maybe a little tiredness, maybe a little this, a little that, and they just beat us.
Coach, is Clint okay? He didn't look his normal self tonight.
Yeah, he's been battling the virus that you know, that affected him. Obviously, he's just doesn't have the force that he normally would have.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Obviously, Mike D'Antoni not going to be thrilled because they know the importance, Sekou, well, let's start there, of ending this series as soon as possible. They know what they're up against and what's next, but it's hard to think that it's even looking forward. I mean, 0 for 3. How many times did we watch them? We're watching it together. They're trying to cut the lead down to 10. Eric Gordon once, who can get to the rim. Harden another time where they were literally like J.R. Smith level in the finals close to the basket, and they're looking for help out at 3.
Well, look, I think as much as you make this about Houston, this is about these guys from Utah tonight. Look at the work, the production, the presence, the physicality you got from Royce O'Neal and Derek Favors off that bench. I mean, just crashing the backboards. I thought Favors was outstanding in terms of just controlling the area around the rim by his lonesome late. This is about, and Mike D'Antoni talked about it. Whatever you want to say about this team, this is about Utah having the force in mind for Game 4 to say we're better than this. We're not going to get swept when we know we're a better team than that. And I like that Quinn Snyder put his guys in a position to go out there and battle and play as freely as they did because they were taking their shots on both ends. You have to play not just desperate, but with kind of a controlled fury to fight off elimination the way the Jazz did tonight.
Yeah, and they played free, seemingly, in terms of not tight.
Yes.
But, right, they and O'Neal specifically, you mentioned, look, 11 points, 11 boards. I played 32 minutes for this team, was fantastic. You mentioned Favors, and Gobert got into foul trouble, which put them in that spot. But Donovan Mitchell had a tough series. Look, he's early in his career, Coach. Whether they win another game in this series or not, how big was this for him to be able to, after some of those struggles, not only win the game, and I know he was modest, but for him to make the big shots that won this game?
Well, I think it says a lot about them. And, you know, and he mentioned probably the biggest thing is he talked about how hard they played and the understanding of how hard they would have to play. And oftentimes that gets overlooked. The biggest adjustment is the intensity level from game to game. And usually the team that loses, the biggest adjustment is the intensity level in the next game. And so you have to give Utah a lot of credit. They out-rebounded them by 16 rebounds. That tells you how they're reacting to the ball, how they're going after the ball. And then the way Mitchell scored in the fourth quarter, that gives their team confidence that he's their closer.
27 bench points, by the way, for the Jazz tonight. The Rockets were 2 for 14 with 5 points off their bench.
That'll get you beat every
They'll
time.
have another game in this series
Get you beat
to win.
And you don't see
they
the
won't
Rockets
win a
with 12
game.
points
No,
fourth quarter,
they
right?
won't win a game in the series against Golden State if they don't get more out of their depth from that. As you look at the second half from Donovan Mitchell, from a defensive standpoint, there was so much focus on the defense that was played on Harden earlier in the series and the change. What did you see when it mattered most in those possessions that the Jazz were doing to at least try and make it as difficult as possible? We know James is going to make some of the toughest shots anyway. But what about the work they put in defensively tonight?
They're continuing, obviously, to sit on James' strong hand, push him right. And, you know, they're starting to figure things out, but this is just one game.
Quinn, what was the big difference in the fourth quarter?
I just think, you know, sometimes
like I said, that there's things that you can control and things that you can't, and you can always control, how hard you compete. And I think that's, we were able to continue to compete. I thought the third quarter, we didn't start well, and the beginning of the fourth, obviously, we started very well, and then we had guys step up to make plays on both ends of the floor. Obviously, Donovan had a stretch where he started to get it going a little bit and gave us a little cushion. I thought Derek's offensive rebounding late in the game was crucial, and then Royce's ability to defend without fouling, to maintain his aggressiveness and and be disciplined at the same time.
You mentioned Favors. You seem to play him more without playing the big guys together. What'd you see that you played him down the stretch there?
Well, we're always, going to play the guys that we think are giving us the best chance to win. And, Rudy had done a heck of a job during the course of the game as well. There was an opportunity when they were small with Tucker in the game that, we're lucky that we have, both those guys are terrific players. So, you never know decisions like that. But what I do know is that, both of those two guys and whoever else we played, Joe didn't finish the game tonight. There's times when Ricky hasn't finished. There's times when Jay hasn't finished down the line. So, I thought that our team's ability, Thibodeau came in and gave us really good minutes, particularly at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And that's the definition of a team when you put the group in front of yourself. And we have a lot of guys that are willing to do that. And some of them did it tonight. Some of them will have to do it next game. That's just that's what makes a team good. Makes a team a team.
Quinn, what got Donovan going in the fourth quarter?
I think just his kind of being resolute in attacking, particularly attacking the rim. And then there were a couple isolation situations where I thought he made excellent reads. Sometimes you say attack, and then you got to take your shots too. So there's no, talk a lot about his reads. You don't get a chance to read if you don't attack. And, I thought by him going to the basket, getting to the foul line, a lot of those things, making a shot, getting on the rim, and getting fouled, like those three things are a pretty good formula. The guy we're playing against on the other team, has mastered that. And, I thought Donovan tonight really mixed it up in that regard.
Quinn, in the first quarter, Jay had the first 4 baskets for the team, 5 of the first 6. And then after that, Ricky took over offensively and had some key baskets. Mm-hmm. They ended up combining for about 25 points in the first quarter. How important was it to see both of them get off to such a strong start?
I think it was the way that they did it. Both of them attacked. Jay, got downhill and attacked the rim. Ricky did the same thing, and I think that that aggressiveness, trying to drive the ball, and then we got going a little bit too fast at times where you're attacking and now the defense collapses and you have to make reads. And I thought Ricky really transitioned in the second half to getting in the paint and finding some people. But those two guys emotionally and obviously their play, but their countenance, their competitiveness is something that our team needs and guys really feed off of.
Coach, you started on Jay Crowder the last 2 games. What made you decide that to pull Favors out and start Jay Crowder?
The same thing that made me decide to put Faves in at the end of the game. We're just the playoffs are a different animal, and obviously you have teams that have a certain kind of level of continuity, and the starting lineup is something that in some respects we cherish it a little too much, I think. And that guys being willing to do whatever the team needs to help the team win, that's what's required in the playoffs. And Jay got the start the other night and didn't play as well as he could have. He got it again tonight. He was ready to go. Fave came off the bench, and gave us great minutes. Joe started the game, and Royce came in, and Royce finished the game. So, I mean, that right there, that tells you that's, I think, who we are, who we need to be, and that playing that way, not just who starts and who plays, but the way we play during the game, having that selflessness and everybody competing, not worrying about individual stuff, and it's why we, as spectators and coaches and everybody enjoy team sports, because that sacrifice is something I think all of us at certain points can respect because we know how hard it is. Okay.
Quinn Snyder and the Utah Jazz stay alive. Jake Crowder, a huge first half. Fourth quarter, everybody got involved. Going back to Houston.